All right, workout worthy, welcome to the Ultimate Downward Facing Dog Guide. Down dog is a foundational yoga pose that is utilized across various forms of yoga. This is an inverted stretch where your body resembles a triangle with the floor. You make a V with your hands and your feet grounded to the floor, and you lift your hips towards the ceiling. There are so many benefits for your body and your mind when you incorporate downward facing dogs into your exercise routine. We're going to go through the benefits of this pose, proper alignment, and common mistakes. We'll also do some modifications and progressions so that you can be successful in this pose. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, like this video, and use Workout Worthy for safe, effective, and fun exercise. Once we go over the fundamentals of down dog, we will go through some gentle flows with modifications and progressions. Now, to get started, we are going to bring our hands directly below our shoulders. Your palms are on the floor, fingers are wide, and you are pressing through the pads of your fingers, pads of your palms. We're going to flex our feet, and your feet should be about hip width apart, lifting our knees off of the ground, and then we lift our hips up towards the ceiling. Now, the distance between your feet and your hands is dependent on your body. We want to feel like we're pressing our heels to the floor. Our legs are straight without locking or hyperextending. And if your hamstrings are tight, a great modification is to keep your knees soft. Feel like you're lifting your hips up towards the ceiling and then elongating from your tailbone through the crown of your head. Shoulders are engaged, low and relaxed. Don't let your shoulders shrug up towards your ears. And your ears are right between your biceps. Keep your chin level so we're not looking up at our hands, but we're also not tucking our chin, looking up at our knees. When you hold a yoga pose, you want to make sure that you're not holding your breath. Deep diaphragmatic yoga breathing throughout the practice. And there should not be pain in your wrist. If you are putting too much weight on your hands, or if your wrists are not in alignment, that could cause discomfort. So make sure you're conscious of that. Now let's come back down to all fours. Now the benefits of downward facing dog are vast. It is a great strengthening pose for your legs, your core, and your upper body. It's great for flexibility from your calves through your hamstrings, your glutes, and into your back, also through your chest and shoulders. It improves circulation. In the inverted pose, it helps bring blood to the brain that can help with mental clarity and focus, calms the mind, helping relieve stress and anxiety. And downward facing dog is also great for flexibility and mobility. Downward facing dog is usually suitable for most populations, but if you are caring for an injury, especially to your wrist, your shoulder, or your back, or if you have high blood pressure, this might not be the right pose for you. We're going to go through a couple of different variations of downward facing dog. And if the traditional down dog is what's best for you, stay with that throughout this practice. Let's bring our wrist right below our shoulders. We're going to come onto all fours once again, flexing our feet, lifting our knees, and then exhale as you press into your downward facing dog. A couple of nice deep diaphragmatic breaths. Our heels press to the floor, our hips lift to the ceiling, elongating from our tailbone through the crown of our head. You can stay here in the traditional version of downward facing dog, or we can try a one-arm down dog. I like to test this out by simply lifting my right hand just a little bit off of the floor. You might shift your weight just slightly, but keep the integrity of your downward facing dog. If that does not feel confident for you, stay here. If you do feel strong and stable, You can simply hold your hand off of the mat, or you can bring your hand to the small of your back, continuing your nice deep diaphragmatic breath as you hold this variation. Now, if your right arm is lifted, we're going to bring it back to the mat so we all meet in the traditional down dog. And we're going to attempt the same option on the opposite side. Our goal is symmetry, but you might not be there yet. So start with that very small movement. Make sure that you can confidently stay stable and in good form. And then you can bring your left hand to the small of your back. Still lifting through your tailbone, elongating down your spine. Both heels are gently pressing towards the floor. Breathing as we hold either down dog or a one-arm down dog. If your left arm is lifted, let's bring it back to the mat. And then let's bring it back to all fours. Variation number 3. You can stay with the traditional down dog option. You can do the one-arm down dog option. Or the third variation is going to be threading the needle in downward facing dog. So let's start on all fours, flexing our feet, lifting our knees off of the floor, and then exhale into your downward facing dog. Now with the threading the needle variation, it's similar where you need to be able to support down dog in good alignment with just one arm. Lifting your right arm off of the mat, we reach the right hand towards the left ankle. Your head would turn just underneath your left bicep. But we keep the integrity of the downward facing dog, continuing to breathe with nice deep diaphragmatic yoga breaths. Now, if your right hand is lifted, let's bring it back to our downward facing dog. Goal is symmetry, so we are going to attempt this on the opposite side. First, by lifting the left hand off of the mat, and then by reaching to the right ankle. Head would turn just under the right bicep. Breathing as we hold the pose. And then coming back to our downward facing dog for one final breath. Hips come through. Let's come back to all fours. Our final variation. You can stay with the traditional option. You can do our one-arm down dog, thread the needle in down dog, or we are going to do a 3-limbed down dog. Or I like to call this a high leg hip extension. The foundation is the same. Start on all fours, flexing the feet. Exhale, lifting up to downward facing dog. Now with this variation, both hands stay on the mat, but we reach our right, point the right toes, reach the right leg either towards the wall behind you or the ceiling, keeping your hips square. So we do not want to open up towards the right side. Think about your kneecap facing the floor, not this front wall. We are still pressing our left heel towards the floor. That left leg is straight. Hips are square, elongating from our right toes all the way through our fingertips. Chin is level. If your right leg is lifted, we are going to slowly lower. Goal is symmetry, so we're going to attempt this on the opposite side. It might feel very different, so stop where your body needs the stretch on this side. Feeling that length, hips stay square. Right heel presses gently towards the floor. is level, shoulders are low and relaxed. Keep them from shrugging up towards your ears. Breathing in the pose. If your left leg is lifted, we are going to slowly lower. We meet in down dog for one final breath. And then let's come back to all fours. Fantastic job, workout worthy. Hopefully you have a much better understanding of downward facing dog, the benefits and different variations. Down dog is often used as a transitional yoga pose that gives you the opportunity to reset and refocus during a yoga practice. It is a great pose that you can do to warm up, to cool down, and to incorporate in your workouts. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, like this video, and come join me anytime.